I also called my best friend who was in Naples at the time, and he sat by her bedside and adjusted her atlas, top bone in her neck, over and over and over again. And the bag vitamins that stayed in her 24 hours. In 24 hours, she got out of isolation. In 48 hours, she was sitting up and eating. This was over Thanksgiving. And in third day, she checked herself out of the hospital. So we know that your body has the ability to heal. You just have to put it in the right environment. And that's what we're learning today, is we're going to learn how to change our environment. So there's 6 essentials of every healthy cell. Okay, every cell needs these 6 essentials. And what you have to understand is if we're not having healthy cells, we have to figure out how to change our environment of our inside to make them healthy. 22 amino acids, antioxidants, fatty acids, live enzymes, vitamins, trace minerals. Have you guys heard this before? It's important. Essential fatty acids, this is huge. And I know that I've talked to many of you guys about the perfect ratio omegas. And it really explains it well in the nutrition book, and that's a whole nother topic. I could do an entire talk on fatty acids, so we're not going to do a talk on fatty acids. The research is just newly changed in 2012, as a matter of fact. Between 2010 and 2012, we've even discovered more about fatty acids and how important they are. The cell has 2 layers of fat, and it's very important to carry oxygen in and out. Also, the fatty acids protect the cell, and I'm not going to go give you this biological explanation. I'm just going to tell you need them, okay? And the reason being is they make the cell healthy and they surround and protect the cell. So the perfect ratio omegas are 1-to-2 ratio. It used to be 3-to-6, but now it's 1-to-2, and it's not simple math. And isn't 3-to-6 the same as 1 and 2? No, it's not. So we know that certain vitamins and manufacturers of vitamins do not follow standards, and here's the deal. We just make something to put a product on the shelf. And if you go visit these laboratories that create vitamins and make them for us, and we have done that through a lot of our branding, they have 6 levels of nutrient quality, I guess I would call it. And so this down here, level 1 and 2, are your mega dose, big bottle, big box vitamins. They have very little nutritional value, and I'll tell you why. Because when I take your x-rays, I still see the vitamin pills sitting in your stomach on x-ray, and you never dissolve them. They never get into the cell. They don't have the right things to, I'm getting stage right over here. They don't have the right things to absorb and denature and break down, because they're made with binders and chemicals and fix-it agents, and what it does is not even a whole food any longer. Best source is whole food vitamins. Our omegas are top-notch, and because they're from grass-fed beef. When we talk about perfect ratio, we talk about where they come from and the oils that they come from, the fish that eat the right amount of algae, how we get the perfect EPAs. So it's really very important. The cell wall needs fatty acids for oxygen, and I think I already told you that because I know that in my head. Vitamin D. So how many of you guys have heard me just preach on vitamin D? And here's why. Okay, vitamin D is essential. We have patients who are telling us, I'm taking 15,000 international units of this brand of vitamin D, but yet their blood levels are only at like 30%, which means they're not on full absorption. Just a maintenance dose of vitamin D is 5,000. And when we do blood, we just give them a 5,000 of the vitamin D that we recommend in a pure form, and their blood levels go already up to 70% in a week or 2. Why is that? It's absorption, it's cell capacity, and it's the right product. So here's a study that astonished me, and I read this study about a year ago, and I'm so glad that they published it. They took 2 petri dishes, one in a vitamin D agar. I don't know if any of you guys have been in a lab, and the other one is in a regular sugar agar. That's what agar is. It's like a gelatin that they grow viruses and bacteria and stuff to see what it does. So they took a group of cancer cells and put them in the 2 agars, the vitamin D and the regular sugar gel agar. And you can see the statistics. In just a few days, the cancer cells were dead in the vitamin D agar, and the cancer cells in the other agar had tripled in growth in just a few days. So not only do we know that sugar definitely feeds the cancer cells, what a great healthy environment for those cells, but the vitamin D actually have cancer-fighting agents. So vitamin D is important. And I tell people, here's your sunshine in a bottle. I am not joking. It's your sunshine inside and out. My kids, myself, I dispense everybody's vitamins every morning. Everybody gets a vitamin D and a probiotic. It's that important. And then if your immune system drops, we're in flu season right now, we got colds and allergies going around like a circus, and you triple your dose and you don't get it. It's the best source of flu shot you've ever had is your vitamin D in a bottle. And if any of you get your flu shot, we're going to have to meet in the alley later, okay? So, no sugar. Cancer loves sugar. Sugar is so bad for you in so many levels. So I want to just invite this handsome gentleman, Chris, up here, and he has no clue what I'm going to do. So this is called applied kinesiology, just a standard muscle test. Good thing I have my high shoes on. So when I hold and stabilize the shoulder, and I'm going to push with some force, can you resist? Yeah, he's pretty strong. Chin ups, he's pretty strong. Okay, I'm going to make you eat a little bit of sugar. Yeah, you have some swigs. If you don't do it right, you have to consume some more sugar. So go ahead. I'm working on it. Now just hold that in your mouth and swish it around a little. Oh, he's thirsty. Just swish it around. Good. Good job. All right. Can I just hold one swig in your mouth? Yeah. You're a big guy. Just hold it in your mouth, under your tongue. Good. Mm-hmm. Hold it there. Yep, just good. Hold it there. Keep it there. Put your arm out for me. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to see the effect on sugar on your energy levels, your adrenal glands, and on a cellular level. We're going to hold here and resist me. You can swallow.
Do that again.
No, really resist me.
Do it again. That's unreal.
Sugar. Thank you, Chris. Pick your poison is what I say. But we used to think you get quick energy. So when we work with Olympic athletes, we still see a lot of these weightlifters like downing these like chocolate things and these shakes that they think that are healthy for them and jamming in a chocolate bar, and then they're going to go do like a 400, 500 pound deadlift. Are you kidding me? Did you just see what his arm did? I just gave him a little bit of my 129 pounds and pulling on it, and it didn't do it. Just blow him right out.
By the way, I was planning to be an officer and not let him pull it down.
That's just the way he is. But so now we put sugar in this environment. Sugar blows you out on a cellular level. This is how it affects you. So I'm just going to go off my nutrition tangent here. This is what we're loading our kids with, and we're sending them to school, and we're supposed to be concentrating. This is what we're putting in older people's drinks and telling them this is where your health comes from. It's loaded with sugar. So sugar feeds cancer. Sugar feeds adrenal stress. Sugar feeds your body's ability to crash and burn on a day-to-day, on a regular basis. Have I made my point? Can I move on? So, perfect protein can help. What's really interesting is the more you increase your protein, the more it stabilizes your blood sugar, the less cravings you have, the better it seals your cells for the leakage that makes our cells unhealthy. Perfect protein reduces your sugar intake, changes the damaged fats to healthy fats, changes the meat you're eating from the organic, so this is what we're doing to make it help. Change your meat to organic meats, we're talking grass-fed beef, which create the perfect ratio of omegas in your body, believe it or not. So why our protein powder? Our protein powder is one of the only ones that's an isolate and not a denatured form. You just can shake it. You don't need to blend it. You don't need to do much. You flash blend it at the very end because it'll poof out into nothing because it's already broken down for you. But the other thing too is if you're putting the best source in your body, do you want to have Ritz-Carlton cells or do you want to have Motel 6 cells? I want Ritz-Carlton again, okay? So when we take a look at what we put our money into, and I look at vitamin D, I look at a pill of vitamin D being maybe 20 cents a day for health and function, sign me up. I look at a scoop of protein of maybe being 30, 40 cents a day, and I can put 2 scoops in and my whole family can have shakes. Okay, skip the bagel and coffee. Let's not go through the drive-thru today. Where do I want to put my money? This is what, and you know what? If you think I'm selling you, I'm not. I'm selling you health. I'm telling you where you should invest your money. This will be the best return of your investment always, is doing the right things, Because do you know what the cost of taking 25 cents of vitamin D today or the cost of treating cancer with chemotherapy and radiation tomorrow? I don't know. What do you think? You save all the money you could check into where? The Ritz-Carlton, for goodness sakes. All right. Dangers of GMO foods. And then we're gonna move real quickly here. Okay, a lot of the GMO foods are being riddled in the news right now. I don't know if you've seen it. It's all over like Facebook. It's all over the news. It was in the paper the other day. This is just a lab rat that they're feeding. So genetically modified foods is what it's called. And what they do is they take God's product and they make it man's product. And then they decide that we're going to alter it and alter the way the food is grown and the way the source comes from. And then we're going to give it to you because it's cheaper. Do you know that I just heard a week or two ago that Russia is boycotting the United States and will no longer buy our corn because it causes breast cancer in women? Funny that they make that announcement in October. Do you think there's a link to that? I think so. So, toxicity. Get your alkaline strips out, everybody. So, how do we know what our environment is? Now, these strips work best when you pee on them. That's why you have two. Okay? We're not peeing here, okay? I want you to take one home. And in the privacy of your own home, you know, I don't care how you do it. I don't want to know how you've done it, but you just dip it in some pee, you know, whatever floats your boat. But saliva test, let's do it real quickly. So we want to be alkaline, right? And we look at what's midline is 7. And when you take a look at proper pH, anything lower than 7, well 7.3 ideally, is being in a very acidic environment. Anything higher is being alkaline. Alkaline is where your cells are oxygenated best and where you have the best chance of your body doing what it's supposed to do. Cancer grows in an acidic environment. So do you think sugar is alkaline or acidic? Coca-Cola? By the way, it can clean your toilet bowls. Try that at home. Pour some Coke in there, let it sit there for a little while, and you don't even have to scrub. That's scary when it goes here. Okay, so everybody take the saliva strip, make some spit in your mouth, 3 seconds. Don't kill it, just 3 seconds. So when we take a look at the spectrum, on our strips, is it green, far green on one side? Is that how it goes? So, and then it's far yellow on the other, is that correct? Okay, because every little test is a little bit different. I have always learned green. This shows a little bit blue. But the more neutral, white, clear to green is the better. The more gray to yellow to orange is not a good place to be. All right? So when you pee, you get the best, dipsticks, you get the best source of your alkalinity. And this is a great test. And you can also do blood test and test the alkalinity of your blood, which is the most important way because it measures true inside out. Oxygen, cause of cancer, is no longer a mystery. We know it occurs when any cell is denied 60% of oxygen requirements. This comes from Otto Warburg, 2-time Nobel Prize winner. And since we're on the subject of Nobel Prize winners, James Watson, and we actually had to study him when I was in school. He's a famous molecular biologist. And he's opened many centers, written many books, but he was most famous for studying DNA and studying the fate of DNA in bacteria and viruses in bad environments. And they were asking him at one of his research centers about cancer, and they were asking him about, you know, well, how come you do all this work and you see how the cell works and you're famous for it, so why don't we have the cause for why can't we come up with a cause for cancer? And in this article, I just pull out his quote that I like the best, but I'm in church, so I can't say the whole thing. He actually swears, but he definitely says, we already know the cure for cancer. Interesting. Number one, we know the cure is not to get cancer, and I'm teaching you how to be a cancer killer by not getting it. But number two, he said, and I'm going to quote, wanting to cure or find cancer is a bunch of SH ends with a T. And why do you think that is? Now, he is a Nobel Prize winner for his work with DNA, bacteria, and viruses. He has seen it all. He's worked with it all. And they go to him as a source and say, why aren't you curing cancer? Because we already know the cure of cancer. But they don't want him to really publicize that. Why? So I'm going to just tell you, I just pulled this off today. Prices soar as hospitals dominate the cancer market. Large nonprofit hospitals in North Carolina, actually this came from charlotteobserver.com, dramatically inflating prices on chemotherapy drugs at the time when they are coming more and more on the market for cancer care. The newspapers have found hospitals are routinely marking up their prices on cancer drugs 2 to 10 times over costs. Some markups are far higher. I remember a patient telling me who was taking the oral chemo that they could kind of do, then have to go in and sit and do the whole port and the whole thing. They were paying something obscure like, I don't know, $500 a pill? I mean, something crazy for one pill of chemo, and it probably cost cents to manufacture. It's mustard gas. It's mustine.
But it's money.
Well, exactly. Well, we're being exposed. It's October, so all the good, the bad, and the ugly are coming out. Unfortunately, we get pink washed. We think we're doing great things. Have I run in a pink race? I have run in a pink race. I love pink. I like just going in the store because they sell more pink. I have all of a sudden decided I'm boycotting the pink. Hence, I don't have my pink suit on today. I'm wearing black because we're killing cancer. Okay? Because ideally, if I knew that my money was going to go to there's a cure and there's a cause and we can make a difference, sign me up, because I'm all about the cure, the cause, and making a difference in people's lives. I'm here. But the problem is we found that the money, you can pour billions into research, but in reality, these companies are making billions and thousands and millions of dollars by selling the products that we're not making a difference. If the same drug to treat a kid has been on the market for 25 years and no new ones, if the same chemotherapy is killing more and more people, and we have more and more cancer, so if we're spending trillions of dollars on trying to treat it, but only millions or billions of dollars trying to prevent it, what do we know? What are we going to do? Right? That was what James Watson's point was. So Max T3, short durations, high intensity workouts to benefit and increase your heart rate, increase your oxygen. Some of you guys have been to our classes. I know that you're a great advocate. I think Kat quoted like, I came to that and I had more energy all day long than I've ever had. I usually sleep all day on Saturday, sit around the house on Sunday, and you know, it's amazing. I run marathons, not any longer. I got a really bum knee. But this Max T3, doing 12 minutes of a workout, like they call these workouts insanity, and a lot of these things are like that, is harder than running a marathon, let me tell you. Running a marathon is more mental than it is physical. I mean, you'll break down physically, but if you do the proper training, doing a Max T3, you know, without, you know, used to doing that, and surging, like, I can't breathe. I can run a marathon, but I can't breathe on my 20-second rest. Oh my gosh. That's great, but that was pushing myself too. But I'm not saying anybody, you know, can't do this. Everybody can do this. My 7-year-old can do this. My 14-year-old who doesn't want to get off the couch on Saturdays, even though she has to go play 2 soccer games, can do this. You can do this, can't you? You have done this. Yep. So it's an amazing thing. I want to cover toxicity. We're going to go to a break. Okay? Very quickly, toxicity is huge. Over here, we have done our toxic talks before. I just show you some of our daily common household products. We wonder why cancer has increased 300% in the past 30 years. We have never had more chemicals, more preservatives, more things in our body that we're exposed to in our environment every day. And this talks about Environmental Protection Agency that the American homes have 70 times more toxins than the outdoors. And if you ever move into a new home, think about the fumes. If you had your hardwoods finished, the carpets, the paint on the walls, think about what they've washed with, the Lysol, the hand sanitizers that we're using. We live in a very toxic environment. We're destroying our natural, normal body's environment to make it happen. Remember what I said? If you want to kill cancer, what do you have to do? Change your environment. We have to change our environment from inside and out. Even to the makeup and the skin lotion, the petroleum jelly, if you read your lotions, they all have petroleum in them. Guess what one of the #1 causes of cancer is? Exposure to petroleum. Very interesting. We're putting it on our skin and on our lips and on our eyes and in our, you know, we need the bare minerals. So when we talk about we have lotions, deodorants, soaps, dry cleaning, 1,662 toxic chemicals, 314 that cause biological mutations, and 146 of them that have grown tumors, and we use them every day. We wonder why we have toxic environments. Painkillers. So do you know that the women, this is huge. So women who take average of an ibuprofen a day or two for 5 years in a row, guess what? Look at the increased chances of breast cancer alone. So women taking 1 aspirin a day, 5 years in a row, increases breast cancer by 80%. You know what, I think back when we were young, my mom lived in a bottle of, what's it called? Bufferin. Is that right? Bufferin? Yeah. And I don't see it on the shelves anymore. She used to take Bufferin like it was going out of style. I thought it was just because my brother and I were 13 months apart and we were always wrestling and fighting, and I'm sure that's why she was taking it. Good thing she never turned into an alcoholic. But I have no doubt that the stress, she was a high-powered executive and worked a lot too, and the Bufferin every single day, I mean, I saw her take it all the time. Breast cancer? No brainer. Wow. When I read this study, I clicked, copied, off to my mom. I just got back, wow. Like, if I coulda, shoulda known. If somebody like you told them. Very interesting. Research has found that more antibiotic use, higher the risk of breast cancer. So what's the answer? Remove the sources. Unload the toxins from your body and empty it into the 70 trillion buckets and bind the toxins into a safe environment and get rid of it. And we have a product that does that. Glutathione, if you've been to the nutrition talks, if you've read your nutrition book and we talk about glutathione, this is liquid gold. Glutathione actually repairs cells. It's amazing. They're actually using this now with the Olympic athletes to enhance performance, but it's an amazing thing. But what it also does is we have the right measurement of getting into the cell, pulling the toxins out of the cell, and then binding it and carrying it away. And the glutathione gets a chance to go into the cell and repair it. Now when you have a healthy toxic cell, you can't even get into the cell, so you need the right agents to go in and be able to change the cell. And we need to pull the toxins out. There's a lot of cleanses out there. There's a lot of, people ask me about all sorts of things. But in reality, there's many that don't carry the toxins back out. If you can't get them out of the cell and bind them, then they stay in there forever. So this is the most important thing, is we're just not flushing out our lower colon, or we're just not changing the bacteria in our gut, but we're actually on a cellular level pulling the toxins out of our cell and then resealing the cell to be healthy and grow new healthy cells for. Come on up, ladies. I've known Juliet for, I don't even know how long have I been your chiropractor? I don't even know. 5 years? Come on up.
It's been a while.
Been a while? And Sandra, you've been in the office for over 2 years now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is hear from 2 incredible cancer survivors who have changed their environment and done some incredible things. And Sandra, when I met you, you had just come out of your first round, right, of breast cancer. And can you just describe, based on some of the things that you've learned, some things that you've done, and what the second time around felt like, and how you really have a better understanding and knowledge on how to capture your own health?
Okay.
Sorry.
It's
okay.
part of me, so I can't go anywhere. That's okay. I'll try to speak up soon.
Okay.
I went through the biopsy, the surgery, the chemo, the
and
radiation,
breast cancer. Right.
all this, and then the Herceptin, and then they put me on the pills to Remedex, and then I got it again last year. And I went back and they did another biopsy and they said that I had to have a mastectomy. And I told them no, that I had just started this year on a program that I wanted to try, and I felt like God had led me there, and that I wanted to, I'd seen my mother go through 2 mastectomies, and I didn't want that. I wanted something different. And when I started with Elite, I didn't go for the cancer, I went for my hands because I couldn't even bend my hands. And now I have full motion. But I went to my surgeon and I told her no, and she said, I may have to drop you.
Nice
I said, well, if that's what it takes, then, but she said, I'll tell you what, you come back in 6 months and then we'll decide. I said, okay. So 6 months later, I had another mammogram, and they couldn't find any cancer at all. She had told me that there was no way I could get rid of any of the cancer or calcification, that I had to have that surgery. And I went back in June of this year for another mammogram. They still couldn't find any cancer. And she told me, well, you can tell me I told you so. I said, no. I said, I know the one who created my body, and he's the one that does the healing.
Right.
And with the right environment and the right things to do.
Thank you. And Sandra did everything that you're hearing about tonight. I mean, she was diligent to keeping her products and her shelves stocked. She'd never missed a visit. I don't even know if I've ever seen her miss a visit. She has referred her entire family. Her grandchildren are under care. She understands where her health and her healing come from, and she just knows that her body needs no interference and it can function and heal. Thank you, Sandra.
Good.